And we're off. It is 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Daylight Time here in Los Angeles. And it is Tuesday, May 30th, 2023 AD. How'd you guys like Bigg Bump co-hosting with Hake yesterday? That was a treat, right? Hope you had a happy Memorial Day. I know I did. What will we be talking about today on the Hake Report? Should have a loosey-goosey Tuesday show. What would you do? This smiling, evil-faced black guy on a train in Europe. Where's Daniel Penny when you need him? Asks Still Gray. I disavow. Just creeping out a lady. Well, I don't know if she's creeped out, but I'm creeped out. Terrible. I think that she's feeling what I'm feeling. What would you do? I don't know. Keep your wits about you when you're out and about. Not good. I will have a gross target update for you. They interviewed the guy who, or gal, really, it's a gal, who thinks she's a guy, or feels like a guy, who designed that so-called transgender merch that was sold by Target. They pulled it off their shelves, though. She's actually relieved. I want to say he because they're calling him a he, calling her a he. And she looks sort of like a he, you know? I'll cover that. Maybe some Memorial Day truth from President Trump. Signal boosted by the libs who hate him, including Rhino, white supremacy hater, Adam Kinzinger. Chasing ghosts, huh? Chasing ghosts. Irreverence for me and not for thee. They hate irreverent people who are irreverent to the wrong groups. Not good. And some other things going on in the world. I've been teasing for like over a week this assisted suicide thing. Maybe I'll get to that finally. And this gender-based violence, so-called gender-based violence. Is there any such thing as gender-based violence? Ridiculous. All that and your calls if you would like to call in. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Nice.
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I will be getting to your super chats, guys. I did see some of them came in, and one of them, Lord BB42, I think that I'm just going to blame Streamlabs for that one, because Streamlabs normally auto-updates, but lately I've noticed that it doesn't always have that. So, nice. And by the way, I am wearing my Bond t-shirt that I got from Hassan from the men's conference of 2021. 11th Annual Men's Conference, August 14th, 2021, AD. And in Orlando, Florida. And it has the old school look. Nice t-shirt. One of the most comfortable t-shirts you want to wear. And it may even, it says rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man, probably. I can't read at that height. I'm getting up there. In age, you know. Almost 42. I was thinking about how I'm almost 42. That's 21 years since I was 21. Whoa. That's another whole 21 years. How did that happen? Is this 100% cotton, Hassan?
It is.
Nice. And it's comfortable. That means it won't stink. I won't. I will spare you the sight of me sniffing my pits. I shouldn't even say that. I should have spared you the. Anyway. Yeah, nice work on this.
Thank you.
Hassan makes cool clothes and cool music and cool drops. And you pulled that footage of me in the mountains. If you watched the splash screen at the beginning of the show, that was the Mount Wilson Trail coming out of Sierra Madre, California. Nice. Right on. And by the way, speaking of clothes, this is not made by Hassan, but this says I disavow, this mug, handy dandy mug. And I saw that it's the real Mr. Mad wanted a I disavow silk screened. I don't have silk screening equipment, plus I'm lazy and trifling. So you have to get it from Teespring, which is a Globo Homo outlet. But hey, they sell Hake stuff and Bond and the Fallen State stuff, but not JLP stuff. So I disavow. There are T-shirts available on thehakereport.com. Or it's really teespring.com/stores/thehakereport, and it redirects to whatever the real URL is supposed to be. So go find it. Time to find your wife, Hake, says Mike Gibson. Terrible. Anyway. Again, I will read your super chats, but first let me get to a call or two, guys. I wasn't able to get to all of the calls yesterday. We had Bigg Bump co-hosting. Shout out to Bigg Bump. BIGGBUMP. Denny is in Bulgaria, though, and he wants to talk about money. We talked at the end of the show yesterday about money issues. Denny, thank you for holding and calling. How are you doing in Bulgaria?
Thank you for taking my call, sir. I'm doing fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine as well. Thank you.
Glad to hear. Let's Hake, you had a remarkable episode yesterday with you and Bigg Bump. It was simply delightful to watch. It was great.
Cool. Thank you for the feedback.
To get it out. Anytime, sir. Ms. Hake, you were talking about the gold and the gold standard, and I'd like to tell you what I've learned from school and from the university, why the gold standard was removed, and why was that actually a very good thing. Because most people these days view it as a negative, and it really wasn't from a historical point of view. As far as I know, Richard Nixon was the one who removed it. And please correct me if you believe I'm wrong, because I'm just telling you what I've learned. So perhaps it might not be the truth, but this is the point of view I grew up with.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know about that either. I don't know who pulled us off of the gold standard. I thought Richard Nixon was a good guy, so I can't imagine it would have been him, but maybe it was.
From what I've learned, he was an incredibly effective president. As far as I know, he did it.
Wow.
But the reason that happened was because this was the height of the Cold War. And it was United States and Western Europe against Eastern Europe, the USSR, and China. Now, keep in mind that back then the United States was, as far as I know, about 250, 260 million people, and both combined, China, USSR, and Eastern Europe they were occupied by the USSR, were about 1.3 billion, as far as I know. And only China was 1 billion people back then.
Okay.
Now, the communist countries have this in common. Every communist country has concentration camps. And they were operating, and those achievements that were made by them was due to slave labor. The Western world back then was broken because of the Second World War. That was 20 years after, 25, 30 years after the war ended. And they were still rebuilding. Also, Japan was recovering, South Korea was recovering, so it was a difficult time. As far as I know, of course, Richard Nixon was the one who dispatched the gold standard, and the reason he did that was a brilliant move, because he was supposed to keep the freedoms in the United States, keep the Western values, and keep on growing the economy, and also to win the Cold War, and that's a pretty difficult task.
Uh-huh.
So he did that, but by removing the gold standard, allowed him to print as much money as he wanted, and most importantly, to to keep that image of a prosperous country. And
Now-
it was the correct image, of course.
Hold that thought.
So-
let me
Yeah.
interrupt briefly. I'm seeing in the chat. I get my information from the chat and super chats, by the way. But
Yeah.
Frederick in Los Angeles says it was way before Nixon, but run far away from the black horse in my chat. That's a person in my chat. Says Nixon ended the silver standard, and so maybe it was that. There was a Nixon shock. I don't know what that refers to. "Quote unquote Nixon shock in 1971 stopped the international exchange of paper U.S. dollars for gold, ushering in fiat Federal Reserve notes." So
Probably it's
that may have something to do with what you're talking about. I don't know. That's from my notes
Hunter,
from Base
could you
America
please
First.
repeat yourself, Mr. Hake?
Nixon shock, 1971, stopped international
Yeah.
exchange of paper U.S. dollars for gold, ushering in fiat Federal Reserve notes.
I see. So yes, I believe this is what it was, and the reason he did it is because so that he can keep up the image of the prosperous country. Because back then, people who went to the United States as immigrants, those were really the best people the world had to offer. The Soviet. Why do you think after the Soviet Union was disassembled, everybody wanted to go to the Western place? Because that's how it was built. So the reason he did that, from what I've studied, from what I learned, was so that because he wasn't able to keep up with the manpower that
Okay.
the communist countries had. They had the manpower, but he basically did it so that he can keep up with that. And in all fairness, I think it was a really good move because, yes, no longer the gold standard is applicable. That's true. But in all fairness, and I'm not advertising or anything, I know the rules of your program and I respect them. So this is just my example. I am always taking about between 8 and 12% of my monthly salary, and I'm investing in gold.
Okay.
It's a small percentage, but, it happens. And it helps. So you can always get some gold if you want to.
Right.
But in all fairness, it was really, really good move. And from a historical point of view, that was truly great. He also went to China because the USSR and China were basically one. And once he got there, he actually removed that communist bond between the two countries. And he really did a lot of good things for democracy and for freedom. So I think this man deserves a few good words.
And that's Nixon, huh?
I believe so, yes. This is how I studied.
I've thought about that too. I've thought about how reality doesn't really matter. It's people's impressions and perceptions that makes stuff seem valuable or not. And in the market, what things seem is more important and in terms of money than what things really are.
You might be right, but not entirely, sir.
Yeah.
Because at the end, reality kicks in really hard.
Yeah.
So you can be fooled for a while, but not for a long time.
Yeah.
And I don't want to insult anyone or to sound disrespectful, but deep down, people are savages.
Right.
And again, I'm not trying to be arrogant or anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are, and you don't want a savage being angry at you. And that happens often.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
With that said, Mr. Hake, thank you for taking the time to hear me out. I would really like to wish you and your colleagues and your audience all the best. Kind regards, and God be with you, sir.
Thank you, Denny, in Bulgaria. Appreciate you, man.
Likewise. Have a nice day, sir.
You too. Interesting. To me, somewhat. It's beyond me, though. It's beyond my comprehension. I like it when people break it down to, like, specifics of what it means. Let me read a few super chats. I was remiss in not reading the super chats, all the super chats yesterday. Oh, yeah, there was one that came in that I read during the ending song which was an Andy Lau song. Oh, no, was it Jackie? I think it was a Jackie song, Jackie Cheung. Delilah Jordanos asked Bigg Bump to rap his verse right then from the stand-up song, Please, for Memorial Day, Bigg Bump. And that's the one where he goes, uniting the races with truth instead of lies. Something, something, something. Children of the lie. Rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. Back to when boys used to be boys and men used to be men. Got to do it the right way. That's God's way. Anger, resentment, judgment, hate. That's what's wrong with the world today. Nice. Something to that effect. Check it out on the end of every Jesse Lee Peterson show. That's the stand-up remix. Done on an iPhone 7 mic. Those iPhones, they're not too shabby. Shout out to the late, great, what's his name again? Steve Jobs. I feel like Hassan might admire him. I know I somewhat do. Oh, okay, nice. Hake album coming soon. Lord Bibby42 gave a Streamlabs donation that came in yesterday, and I did not see it because Streamlabs doesn't seem to be auto-updating on some of these web browsers for Hake. Bigg Bump bringing the hits to the Hake Report. Van Haken, oh yeah. That's right, yesterday Bigg Bump presented to us new information that of which I was not aware, that Van Halen is an AAPI. Eddie Van Halen, rest in peace, no longer is, because he's dead. Right, Eddie Van Halen? Maybe his brother's AAPI still. Why Can't This Be Love by Van Halen, which is their last name. It's the name of their band, and it's their last name. 1986, 5150, at least the brother's last name. From 1986, the album 5150, or 5150, or 5150. No, I'm pretty sure it's 5150. That's how they would pronounce it, it's my guess. Why Can't This Be Love? And that's the actual normal music on the Hake Report. But it's still Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. It's still 2 days left of May, and I have some more beautiful music to share with you guys. But thank you, Lord Bibby42. I was remiss in missing that show. TJ bought a coffee, caught yesterday's show on replay on buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report. He wrote, gotta love my favorite Van Halen song paired with Hake's awesome B-roll of nature in Los Angeles. Shout out to Bigg Bump. And that's 2 G's at the end of Big. But thank you, TJ, for the coffee and the shout out. Nice. Let me double check on Buy Me a Coffee and Ko-Fi and other places. And we are all caught up, I do believe. Thank you, guys. Yeah, Van Halen was Dutch. Yes, he was Dutch. Skunky X asks, wasn't Eddie Van Halen Dutch? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Yes, 3/4 Dutch. Or something to that effect. Because the mother, I think, was Dutch Indonesian or something like that. Or maybe full-blown Indonesian. The Dutch married with the Indonesians and made Dutch Indonesians. And so that's white mixed with PI, Pacific Islander. I think Indonesia is a Pacific island. Anyway, clip 12, guys. Let me show you this. Excuse me. Clip 12, Still Gray shared this video. Ian Miles Chiang, independent journalist. Speaking of Indonesians, I think he's Indonesian, right? Something like that. Where is Daniel Penny when you need him? And this is, I don't know when or where exactly this took place, but it did take place in quote-unquote modern times or postmodern times, whatever you call the present day, relatively speaking. And I think it took place in Europe. I'm hearing other languages, I feel like. I might have bleeped something that wasn't actually even a cuss word. It might have been a computer announcing the location, and it had the SH sound, so I just bleeped it. Just out of better safe than sorry, right? I bleep and censor a lot of stuff more than I need to, especially with this transgender stuff coming up. But play clip 12. This is 27 seconds long, and I'll describe what's going on for the audio podcast listeners. Watch this. Okay, so there's this guy leaning way over, hanging onto a pole inside the... See, I don't think that was a cuss word. And just with a weird grin, creepy grin, I think it's a guy, black, leaning kind of in the space of this white gal. I think it's a white gal, who's on her phone and he's just smiling at her, holding the can of something, I'm not sure. Maybe a rock star or a monster, or maybe some alcohol. I shouldn't call it alcohol, that's like making it sound cute. And just looking weird. Maybe he's on something, or she. That's horrific. Have you guys ever experienced a situation like that? You look like you got to go number 2. Says Bib from Maine, 42. Yeah, watch out for the... I saw an opinion posted on TKR Official Telegram, one of my other news sources, saying we should ban public transportation. Yeah, I think maybe that's a good thing. People say, oh, LA is horrible because it doesn't have a good public transportation system. What's a good public transportation system if you have bad people? I mean, everybody's bad, right? But openly, brazenly bad people, shameless. You make alcohol sound so cool, Hake. Now I want some alcohol. I know, you shouldn't be making it sound cute or cool. He's like, this person, might be a gal, on drugs. I'm assuming on drugs. Like, best case scenario, you hope the person is on drugs, because if that's a sober-minded, insane person, doesn't even make sense. Just like staring right at you with a weird grin. Like, I'll stand up and sort of show you. Imagine that. And then holding the I disavow mug with water. It's not vodka, it's water. I used to think vodka was just a thick accent for water. You want some vodka? I thought that they were saying water. I don't understand that stuff. I was a kid. But that's creepy. But you gotta keep your wits about you. You don't wanna... I'm looking at myself on delay right now. Oh no. But he didn't even take a sip of that stuff. Whew. Sober nutcases are the worst, says Grandpa Daryl. Yeah, so that lady, I think she was right not to make eye contact. Keep your head down. I remember it's AAPI month. One of my Asian friends recounted walking around with his nephew at a school, not during school hours. You know, the bad kids go to these school playgrounds not during school hours. They smoke their marijuana. Maybe I should bleep that word. And, or just walk around climbing stuff and hanging around, hiding behind the handball courts. Well, they walked by these, what are they called? Gangsters? Gang members looking guys? Hispanics? Just keep your head down. Just keep your head down. Look down. Don't look up. Don't attract attention to yourself. That may help. Try to act normal. I don't know. You have to deal with this nutty people. People say some of the liberals blame Ronald Reagan for closing down the insane asylums or whatever they're called. I don't know. Maybe he was not that good. I heard that he brought no-fault divorce to California and to America. Not good. He wasn't all great. Just like Trump. Not everything Trump does is great, but he's a great man and a great president. And same thing with Ronald Reagan. Probably was a mixture of things. Mixed bag. And then the people who do stuff in his name, it's ridiculous. Even Obama was using the name Ronald Reagan. Keep Ronald Reagan's name out your mouth, Obama. Ridiculous. But yeah, there's nutcases on the street. Be careful. Be alert. Keep your wits about you. Be ready to defend yourself. But try not to cause great bodily injury if it's on video. And if it's not. Because you want to do what's right. Be careful. Let me get to another call or two, guys. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. William is in California, who's on the line. What's up, William?
Hey.
Hey.
How you guys doing? How was your weekend?
It was nice. Doing well.
Cool.
Thank you.
Cool. I didn't listen to you guys Friday. I got out of here. I went up to Napa to the music concert.
Oh, okay.
Bottle Rock.
Bottle Rock. Okay. I feel like I might have heard about that before.
You guys have one down in L.A. It's bigger, though.
Okay.
It's much bigger. They had everybody. They had Sheryl Crow, Gladys Knight,
Nice.
Duran,
Whoa.
Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's amazing how good they still sound.
That sounds fun.
Wu-Tang Clan,
Oh,
Lil
hey.
Nas, a lot of people were there. Chic, Nile Rodgers and Chic. Wu-Tang Clan was good.
Okay.
It's kind of cool how they
Didn't one of the
protected
guys
their
die
brand.
20 years ago or so? 15?
Old Dirty Bastard.
Yeah.
Yeah, they protected their brand over the years really good, though. You know, from what they started as.
Okay.
And they were good. And I was just looking at these homemade, good, wholesome white people.
Oh, yeah.
Of how good a time they had.
Nice.
And there was nothing happening out of the ordinary other than pouring wine. And they had several bands.
Yeah.
You know, it had 72 acts.
Wow. Big
I
old
went to
festival.
Saturday and Sunday. See, I went to Coronado Beach a couple of weeks ago. That was for the old lady.
Yeah, that was down south.
Make
this way.
Yeah, that's to make her shut her pie hole. You know, shut up. We're going to Coronado Beach. You'll love it.
Uh-huh.
But we did this Napa thing, which is up here, last weekend. Went to Saturday and Sunday, and it was outstanding.
Cool.
And I say leave white people alone. They're not doing anything to you.
Yeah, I mean, you go there and you feel generally fairly safe. Like you said, the worst thing that they're doing
they have real glasses and look. They have real glasses and pouring wine.
Oh yeah,
bottles.
because that's wine country, Napa.
Yeah.
Where they have wine trees up there, as JLP called them.
And everybody had a good time. I'm sitting there looking at these homemade white people. I said, look at you guys.
Nice.
Jamming to Wu-Tang and everything. And
Yep.
I'm like, leave them alone.
Yep. Exactly.
Leave these people alone. They ain't doing nothing to you.
Yep.
No. Van Halen. My favorite's probably Panama.
Okay. I don't know if I've ever knowingly heard that song. I'm a musical Philistine when it comes to that classic rock stuff. Is that classic rock?
Yeah. Of course.
Nice.
Yeah, of course. Like a lot of different stuff. But it's definitely on the rock side.
Yeah.
Reverend Brown up here in San Francisco, it's just ridiculous. Gaslighting again. Talking about that the white man has to pay a slave tax or whatever it is to black people out here in California when we absolutely never had any Jim Crow laws in California.
Is that Amos Brown? Reverend so-called Amos Brown?
The race pimp. Yeah, the race pimp.
And he's old enough to know better, it looks like. I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
I just looked him up.
His empty church. He was walking in his empty church with his cane. Now, you know, when I grew up, he didn't walk around with a cane. He's just a race pimp.
Uh-huh.
And he says he's a grandson. He's a great-grandson of a slave. And it's like, I thought about that when he said that, and it's like, everybody is. Who do you think you are, dude?
Yeah. I got to drag this Rev Amos Brown screenshot
lying
into
to
the
these
folder.
people about a $72 million check that they got coming. Blacks think
copying.
they're getting all
It's
happy
taking
and
a while.
everything right now. Let me tell you something that was funny, though, man. I didn't want to listen to your show Friday. I just went straight up to Napa. We had to get ready to go up to that.
Right on.
So
I copied
so
it
the
in
girl, she goes, you don't want to listen? I says, no, let's go up to this music festival and come back. I listened to you yesterday.
Nice.
And ain't nobody doing nothing to these black people. You got like a little gang of callers that group text each other and come in, and I didn't even notice. She said, I think they're trying to keep James from reporting the news. And I didn't think anything of it until about an hour later. I said, you might be right, because everything in the news is nothing but the blacks committing crime.
Wow.
I never thought about that.
We're showing a picture of Reverend Amos Brown with his cane in an empty church.
Oh, yeah. There he is. Yeah, there
Civil
he
rights
is.
champion.
Oh, my God, that is so phony.
San Francisco's been living a lie. He's the president of the NAACP in SF.
Yeah, and obviously the blacks don't know what approve means. It's been approved. That doesn't mean you're getting a check.
Right.
Stop.
Yeah.
And they don't want to. They don't think. I don't think they know what they're doing with this.
Yeah. Interesting, man. I appreciate
Isn't it kind of interesting how they sell these things to black people?
It is. It's silly.
I think so too.
They make a mockery of themselves.
I mean,
they
it's
make a
just
mockery
my
of them.
opinion. I'm not trying to offend anybody with my opinion, but I just really think this is phony. And I know the Black Panthers lasted about 8 years, and then they were gone. It seems like I looked at this documentary called the Vanishing Black Family in 1968. It's very interesting. I would advise everybody to look at it and everything.
That's the year it came out?
Yeah.
Wow.
Very interesting. The turn of the black family, that some of these people that were like in college then turn out to be our now 80-year-old leaders that need to leave.
I know. Yeah, like that guy Lewis, John Lewis.
Wait a minute, they race baited a certain age group, just like they're doing right now.
Yeah, the young people are suckers.
Right.
And the black young people they got it bad because they had no
you can't associate
leadership.
yourself with Africa, with your African guard, and playing this game, because they didn't go in the bush to get you. They were at the ship docks.
Yep.
And black people were bringing black people to the Ivory Coast, which is Ghana and Nigeria. And you want your reparations, go out there.
If that were to happen, would you take a check from the government, like a reparations check?
I can't really even think about nothing that's not coming.
But let's pretend.
I can't even do it.
Let's pretend that it did. Would you take the check?
Okay. If it's there, it's mine. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. But it's not coming.
I know.
Why tell somebody something like this? Anybody would take it, but that's not what we're talking about,
right.
though.
It's not even right.
It's not even right, because you can't even, I think under the Bill of Rights, you can't give one group something without giving the other. Nobody's thought about that part.
Special treatment.
And it's actually 3 times the budget of California.
Wow.
That's what it cost.
Yeah.
And the fact that, where's Asmodor? Because I think he knows about this. There were not even 2,500 black men lynched in the history of this country.
Really? It was that few? I thought that it was
under 2,500.
I thought it might be 4 or 6 or 8,000. But I don't know. No, it is not. And those lynchings were not all unjust, strictly speaking.
Not all.
In the eyes of
all.
Yeah, a lot of them
Not
were
all.
maybe
Sometimes
revenge.
they hung
that's not
black
good.
people. Wait a minute, James. Sometimes they hung black people who actually killed black people.
Right. Yep.
And they had a street justice back then.
Yeah.
Before a lot of our laws were finished, and a lot of goofballs that call in don't understand that
Yeah.
they don't have anything to do with that back then. So, do you know how many black people killed black people since slavery?
It's like tens of thousands a year, isn't it?
It's 41.6 million.
That's how many have been killed? That's
41.6 million.
not even counting abortion, right?
That's right.
Yeah. That's out of
100
control.
million people.
Not all were documented, says Same Cloth, which is true, but the whites,
That is true.
The whites were the ones who documented it the most. Blacks didn't necessarily
Like
document.
I said,
Sometimes
you
they
don't
took
have
photos.
that much record. You don't have that much record of us because the South was burned to the ground.
Yeah.
Any records that you have from the East Coast, from you coming from Africa, your people don't have that much record.
Yeah.
They don't have that much record of you going back that far. There's very few black people can actually say they have record that far.
Yeah.
If they do, a lot of times they're gaslighting.
Yeah, talk about getting rid of our history. They say, blacks say, our African history, our African heritage was erased. What about the beautiful South?
Beautiful South.
Yeah. Their
Beautiful
history
South.
is misstated. Even to this day, we have very
Yes, it
fake
is.
news. We have very fake news
I
misstating
mean,
what's
there's
going
some
on.
bad times and good times.
Yep. Crazy. Interesting, William. I appreciate your call, man. Take care.
All right, man.
All
Take
right.
care.
You as well. Make sure that Kevin in New York doesn't name drop anything. Sean, please. Thank you. Just double check with him, please, there. Frederick in Los Angeles wants to comment on the economy. What's up, Frederick? Are you there?
Yes, sir. What's going on, Hank?
Just having a loosey-goosey
Ain't that
Tuesday
sad
show.
Ain't that sad people who are against reparations will take that check?
No, that's not sad.
amazing.
How is that sad?
It is sad. I knew he'd take the check because he took his daddy's college money. But we ain't going to talk about that. We're going to talk about
that's
the money right now.
What
and raise the
if you're
debt
not
ceiling.
going to talk about it? Why did you mention it? You just wanted to get in your
Because I
pot
knew
shots.
They don't deserve the check. That's my opinion. They don't deserve the check.
Who deserves any reparations check?
Oh, you know who deserves it. We gonna get it. It's just a matter of when we gonna get it.
I don't know who deserves
it.
it. I don't know anybody who deserves a reparations check that I can think of.
Well, Jews got reparations. Koreans got reparations. A whole lot of people that was victims got reparations.
And you think they deserved it?
It's our turn. Yes, sir.
Oh, he
My
cussed
yes,
by
sir.
accident. By accident.
By accident.
But
yes.
you shouldn't be getting pot shots. They should hang up on you right now for doing pot shots on another caller.
No, I wanted
about
you to cross. I wanted you to cross our phone lines in so I can ask them, like, how did you not have the merits to even receive affirmative action? Like, Daddy paid for school in the '60s.
No.
money.
Hold on. Oh yeah, he did mention that. He did mention that. I
Yeah,
think his father.
did. Yeah, he did.
So
Exactly.
what if
But
somebody's father paid for his college?
that means he wasn't even trying. And he was a grown man. He couldn't go in the Army because he wanted to. He couldn't even go to Howard because he wanted to. So if a grown man is still having another man make decisions for him,
But
he never developed.
he's not making.
He never developed.
That's an interesting point. I mean, you should really take it up with him. You're getting a little personal.
Well,
but,
no.
But hold on.
No.
But hold on.
Well, I want to talk about
No. Hold
the
on
money.
though. Just in fairness, since you brought this issue up of a father paying for the college of a son, I'm not necessarily for that either. But the father
was getting in.
But the father has
with
a right.
scholarships.
The father has the right to say what he wants to spend that money on. If he doesn't want to spend that money on Howard University, the father has the right to do that, and William was grateful in the long run for that.
No, he could have waited a year and went into the military like he wanted to do as a man on his own.
Yeah, he totally could have, but that's
So
not the
don't
way
try
that.
to say Mama wouldn't let me join the military because I was 17. No, man up.
That's
Take accountability.
you're talking to an imaginary person from decades past.
No, I'm talking
Yes,
about
you are.
everybody that listens to Jesse.
No, you're saying, oh, okay, you're saying for future reference to 17-year-olds
Future
today. Okay. Because it's
Yeah.
ridiculous for you to tell William as though he's
No, I'm not
17 years
going
old
back
still
over it.
to man up.
Right.
His life is working how it's working. I mean, But I understand if you're
today's
saying
kids-
man up now, but I don't know if I would advise people to go into the military right now. We have you might be able to do it. Maybe you should go into the Air
If that's
Force.
what they want to do as a grown adult, don't let your parents change your mind is all I'm saying.
Okay. I suppose that's fair. But I've
You're
heard
your own
Cernovich.
man at that age.
I've heard Cernovich say, and he's like a center-left guy, fair-minded, America-loving guy generally. Mike Cernovich.
Okay, generally.
He said, go into the military, maybe the Air Force. I think he might have said that, and just get your bag, get that money, and the whatever the perks. Get in, get out.
Yeah, I went in the military. I joined.
What part? What branch?
I'm a veteran,
What branch?
but it shows you a lot. Army.
Okay.
But
Did you see
it
action?
shows you a lot how
I forget
people
whether you
crack
saw
under
action.
pressure. No, never saw action. I was too smart to see action. I
Nice.
ain't got no PTSD, no shell shock, none of that.
By
no,
too
never
smart.
seen that.
By too smart, they saw that you were smart, and so they put you in a place where you would do
I
technical
did
stuff.
paperwork. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You score high enough on the ASVAB, you get to pick your job.
Okay.
And then you're like, you don't have to do infantry, artillery. That's the ones that score, kind of at the bottom just enough to get in. You're going straight to Georgia, buddy. But no, I went to Fort Jackson, South Carolina.
All right. So what did you want to say about this Federal Reserve?
Beautiful. You say what?
What did you want to say about the Federal Reserve?
Oh, they passed the debt ceiling bill. So we got new money coming in.
Did they pass it, or they just arrived at some sort of a deal? They haven't passed it yet, right?
They made a deal.
Right, it's not passed.
They're gonna make work requirements on the SNAP food stamp. So there's gonna be more people gonna have to work to get their food stamps or show that they're trying to get a job at least.
That's
And I'm with
temporary.
that.
What's that? You're not for that?
I don't know. You say what?
You support that?
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the SNAP program fees a lot. I don't like when Republicans try to drug test for food stamps and do all this other means to try not to give it to American people, but give other countries all this money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know what?
Israel's talking
I
about
say we
going
should get rid of all that.
What?
I say we should get rid of all that. Get rid of
No,
foreign
we got a lot
aid.
of
Yeah, get rid of
refugees coming.
foreign aid as much as we can, of course. There's some stuff that you just can't get rid of, I guess, practically speaking.
I agree with you.
And then
I
get
agree
rid
with
of as much of the welfare and social spending, Social Security. Phase it out. As there was a great line in this thing that I was reading from Based America First, that it's actually quite possible to get back to a gold standard and different things. Phase out entitlement programs such as Social Security. Encourage personal responsibility and savings without inflation. That's possible to do. It's just that the people don't want to do it.
They phase out retirement. I'm sure they can phase out Social Security. If you quit paying into it at a certain time, then okay, just like that pensions that people had before 2007. They took those away and gave you a 401k and didn't nobody even cry about it. These companies like Madoff was stealing money from people's pensions, and like, how can you just get away from you work here 7 years, you automatically going to have a pension to, no, you got a 401k and you got to learn how to manage this yourself and invest in what you want through your own. Like, I work a job. I ain't supposed to be managing my 401k trying not to lose money. But they did that. They took everybody off the pension where you work your retirement and your check automatically comes.
Well, I remember hearing on a local radio station multiple times that the pensions in California are just ridiculous. They're making all kinds of money not working, and they game the system where they work a certain number of years to where they're making a certain amount per year, and then that beefs up their pension, and they're living, as JLP might say, high on the hog.
If you pay into it, it's insurance. It's like an IRA, but they supposed to keep your money and let it collect the interest over all the years you pay into it. But you don't get it until you owe. So it should be there. I don't
To
see
me,
what the problem was.
it's terrible because it's not something that it's not value. You're not paid back value that you created. So that's value robbed from other people.
No, you're paying back the value you created.
No, you're not. You work a government job. You're paid way more than you're worth.
No,
Look at you. You're not even work. You're in your mid-40s, I think, and you're like retired. You don't even work anymore.
My birthday's
what
tomorrow.
value?
My birthday's tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
I will be 47.
Well, I hope you make it. I wish you well.
So tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure I'll make it. But
Nice.
that's not the point. That's not the point. The people are suffering because, look, this is what I think. We will go away from all the social programs when all the people from Israel, they're about to attack Iran, and everybody in Israel is going to be over here in the United States in about a year and a half.
You think so?
They're going to be refugees because Iran and BRICS is going to wipe them off the map.
Well, you heard it on the Hake report first from FREDERICK.
That's right. We're going to have a whole bunch of Israeli refugees, so make room. They probably already got land here in dual citizenship, so it ain't going to be a problem. Crazy.
We'll see if you're right.
All right, man.
Thank you, man. Take care.
I ain't going to take up too much time.
All right.
But, yeah, we need to take our dollar back, or BRICS will be the number one currency, and the dollar will be second, and everybody will just be in America trying to make deals. We'll be isolated.
Doesn't sound good.
No more NATO.
Yeah.
All right, later.
All right, bye. Whew. I don't feel like telling you about Gross Target yet. Let me get to Kevin in New York. He has something real to talk about. Real, but past. Kevin in New York is on the line. How you doing, Kevin?
Hey, I'm doing good. It's great to talk to you again. Hake, how you doing?
Doing well. Cool.
Nice.
What good are you doing in the world? Since you said you're doing good.
Oh, I did say that, didn't I?
Yeah.
Well, my answer is still the same. If doing good means that I'm working on myself, then that's great.
Cool.
You know.
All right.
Yes. Yeah, I called in. This might be a quick call because I'm calling you at work on my break. But anyway, I wanted to tell you about something that I thought you might find interesting, you and your audience. And it has something to do with JLP as well, because I encountered this philosopher. I don't know what time period he lived in, but I encountered a video where it was titled The Path to Loneliness. And, of course, people who are not aware, that sounds like a terrible thing. Why would I want to be lonely? But it really doesn't have anything to do with that. It really has more to do with...
Is it the path of
being
loneliness?
An individual.
The path of loneliness? Huh? You said path to loneliness. But this one says path of loneliness.
That's right. That's right, the path of loneliness.
Prepositions are important. Is that a preposition?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, definitely. But this philosopher, I believe he came from Japan.
You can name this one. I thought that you were talking about a present-day person that you were maybe going to plug. So you can name the guy if you happen to know him.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I understand where you're coming from, too. His name is Miyamoto Musashi.
Okay. Hey, AAPI month. That sounds sort of like a Japanese name.
Yes. That's why I thought it would be so fitting.
Right on.
And even with that under that title of the path of loneliness, his message is very, very much like JLP's. So I wanted to just tell you guys to look into that if you find it interesting.
Okay.
You know.
So
yes, absolutely.
What does that mean? The path of loneliness. That means going, sort of. Not trying to escape loneliness? Yeah,
not to feel loneliness, but to be okay with it if it happens to happen. Do you know what I'm trying to say? To be an individual.
Yeah, it's it's sort of a nice message. It's kind of like what JLP said in his opening monologue yesterday during Memorial Day. He said, let life happen. Don't be trying to make life work.
Yes.
Say you're feeling lonely and you do something to solve your loneliness, and you end up worse off whether you realize it or not. Terrible.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, definitely, because I don't know if JLP used this word or not, but in this reading of this passage written and talked about by Musashi, he uses the word detachment.
Okay.
To talk about the many things that JLP talks about, like even the detachment from food.
Yeah, you don't need to be
your emotions.
It's not good to be attached to the worldly self-indulgence and things of the world and your own.
That's right.
Even like your own body. I saw an X-Files episode yesterday where these guys were amputees. Like they had legs cut off, arms cut off. And one guy totally, in this fictional story, totally tripped out over it. And he was just an angry person and bitter. Whereas you don't accept your fate. And I somewhat disagree with the phrasing that you put, because you said you don't want to feel it, but you want to be okay with it. But you should be fine with feeling it, I think.
Well, yeah. To let it pass, even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because
or let it stay and hang around.
Could be.
Not that you want to like keep it around, but let it be there.
Absolutely, yes. But even with that said, we have to be aware not to latch onto it. That's what
you're the one who's black, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm black.
You're relatively young, right?
I'm 36.
Oh, okay. That's relatively young.
Yeah. I
remember you.
I didn't want you to. I'm glad you didn't ask me to spell Miyamoto Musashi, because never asked a black man to spell something.
That's funny. Somebody Camino Sal, which means walk Sal, says, OMG, oh my gosh, I love Miyamoto Musashi, and she spells it Miyamoto Musashi. Nice.
Yes, there we go.
I wonder if that's spelled that way in the Japanese characters. Do Japanese spell with characters like the Chinese have characters?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, that's probably why it's so difficult to learn, because it's all symbols.
Yeah,
you know? But yeah. Quick comment about that's all I called about to talk about. Can I make a quick comment about the Federal Reserve?
Yeah, of course. About the what?
Only because the Federal Reserve.
Oh, yes.
Because you guys were talking about that.
Please do. Educate me.
My understanding of this whole thing, the Federal Reserve, and people got to realize that there's a difference between the government and the Federal Reserve. Those are completely two separate things.
Okay.
If people think that the Federal Reserve is the government, you know,
it's
it
not.
gets into that whole it's privately owned, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But yeah, now this may sound a little reckless, but even when it comes to something like national debt, you find out how this system works. It works on perpetual debt. It works on perpetual debt in such a way to where they make it impossible to pay back the debt, the national debt, for example. And so, in my opinion, we collectively, and it sounds like a very dangerous thing, actually, but collectively, we have to say to ourselves that we don't owe this debt. Because I've come to that conclusion because you go back to when the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 was created or something like that.
Okay.
We were signed on to this debt without our permission. That's the huge problem of this whole thing.
Without the permission of the American people, huh?
That's right. Yep.
They've done a lot of things without our permission. And then we've just accepted it, rolled over and accepted it. That's wild. Like the 1965 Immigration Act.
Oh, yeah, definitely. You know?
Yeah.
So it's a dangerous thing to say that we collectively don't owe this debt. You know, and our financial system almost seems to be in a way to where it's designed to eventually fail.
You know what? Right, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. And with that said, what are we going to do when it fails? The very moment we even speak up and say we don't owe this debt or, you know, something along those lines, we have to have something to replace it, but what are we going to replace it with? It's a very dangerous thing, and it seems like they're leading us down that road of digital currency and, you know all that stuff.
I think you are right.
That mess.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I wasn't able to mention yesterday, that they're heading towards that digital currency where they can defund you entirely. Like the government can, or whoever the powers that be, can give you no freedom with digital currencies, because they say, oh, you have a bad credit score or bad personal, what is that thing? Social credit score or something like that.
Yep.
You're a racist.
Yep,
you can't,
that's right.
you know, or you're a Christian. You're one of those real Christians. You can't be spending money. You can't support yourself. They're debanking people even right now. I read in this little Money Evolution notes that 78% of the U.S. debt, $24.5 trillion, is held by the public. And I think that means by we the people. So the government owes us 78% of the national debt. And then they owe $7 trillion to like foreign interests, Japan, China, and elsewhere, which foreign ownership of U.S. debt is much higher than it was 50 years ago. Both foreign governments and private foreigners, so-called investors. But most of it is owed to us. So it's not like we're in debt. They're in debt the government is in debt against the people. That's if I'm reading that correctly. Which is wild.
You probably could say that. I didn't think of it that way. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can quote me on it, but you may be giving inaccurate information. but in a manner of speaking, it is true, because I didn't vote for them to do that to us. I don't think. Yeah. I know I voted for them kind of ignorantly. Right. So in a matter of speaking, I did vote for W. Bush, and I told my mom to vote for Bush the daddy. I didn't know better. But and Trump, of course, increased the debt, but he kind of had to, I think, to get things back on track. And then I think he might have tried to work it down. I could be wrong. Yeah,
he did. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a Black Trump voter.
Nice.
So just to put that out there.
Right on. Well, thank you, Kevin. Great call.
Definitely. Oh, thank you, Hake. Yes, back to work with me.
Sounds good. Take care, man.
Take care.
All right, guys. Before I get back to calls and stories, I haven't gotten even to one story, really, except for that. What would you do with that crazy-faced black in some foreign country? Because Europe is now a bunch of foreign countries. It's time for AAPI music. Yes, it's Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And I have a nice song from, speaking of like Sheryl Crow type stuff, it's not exactly Sheryl Crow, but it reminds me somewhat of these cool 90s sounding singers. This is Lijie. Or is it Lijie? From 2023, Love Be Patient. I hope you enjoy this. This is from that gal who has played a song or two before church with Jesse Lee Peterson in the past several months here at Bond. So, Love Be Patient. And it has some nice quotes about love from the Bible. Check it out from Lijie, Lijie. And You can cover your ears, you can press mute, you can grin and bear it. It's not one of Hake's childhood or early adulthood Chinese songs from my friend's iPod. It's a real song. You can go out and plant your garden, shovel snow, rake your leaves, pull leaves out of the wine trees. Or you can grin and bear it, you musical Philistines, and I'll be right back for hour 2. Hang tight. This song doesn't stink nice. Is this Mazzy Star? No, it's Lijie. Hear the massive attack influence?
Love be true. If you stumble, I'll carry you. So do I, God, this I promise to.
Makes me rethink what music can be, indeed. Sort of reminds me of a band I used to listen to, DENNY. Somebody said, is this Fiona Apple? I had a friend named Fiona, or a friend's little baby sister. They all had Chinese names and then Fiona. Very nice. Hassan says, big vibes, wow, best. Can't understand the lyrics, says Mead Music. Oh yeah, she sent me the lyrics. I have them for you. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Let me pull it up. Here's the lyrics for you guys. Look at us now, what a mess we've made. Our head in the clouds, what a price to pay. Love, be patient. Love, be kind. Without envy, my peace of mind. I'm self-seeking, but with you I'll try. Oh, sleight of hand, away we go. Oh, second chance, how beautiful. Love be patient, love be kind, without envy, my peace of mind. I'm self-seeking, but with you I'll try. Love be humble, love be true. If you stumble, I'll carry you. Slow to anger, this promise too I do. Isn't that nice? There's the lyrics for you. I know sometimes That's the drawbacks to some of this more underground music. I can't understand the lyrics. That's a guitar solo. So, right on. Thank you, spoiler alert, for sharing the Love Be Patient song in the YouTube chat. No more Jackie Chung? Oh, don't worry. I do have another Jackie song to share with you. But not today. Not today. I'm playing an Andy song at the end of the show. Thank you guys for bearing with me through that beautiful music. Speaking of beauty, before I get to super chats and calls, this is not beautiful. This is terrible. Gross target. I know. Signal boosting. Here's from hat tip to American Anchor Baby. 4 p.m. Pacific time today, by the way, guys. American Anchor Baby. 4 p.m. Pacific, not his normal 12 noon Pacific weekdays, pre-Friday. But Joel Friday TV will be live in an hour or less. Joel Friday TV, right after Hake, because it is Tuesday. Nice. But let me share this quote with you from one Ms. so-called Eric, with a K, no C, Eric, E-R-I-K, Carnell. A so-called gay trans, sorry kids, ladies, gentlemen, everybody, UK designer whose brand Abprallen, hopefully that's not a cuss word, was featured in this year's Target Pride collection. Oh, where's my, I got my spittoon in advance. Two. Was that a convincing spit? Here's a quote from this person. And I have screenshots of this person, I have screenshots of the article related, and I covered the face of the person because it's a gal with receding hairline and a beard, a mustache, but it's a gal. I think the amount of backlash that I've gotten has been overwhelming. I just hope that this is the beginning of the end of the messages and the onslaught that I'm getting. And I cover the face out of respect for my audience and my own sensibilities. Because I, cover the face and the hand, because it's like a sort of a mannish hand. I guess this person's been taking a lot of tea. Testosterone. Testosterone makes your hair recede and makes you grow facial hair, and it turns your hand more mannish, hands more manly. Maybe I should be taking some tea. No, I think you just exercise. You work out, and it increases your testosterone, I heard. So CNN is fake news and calls it he, says it's she, has gotten death threats. Well, of course. And I, of course, disavow death threats on anybody, right? There is no justified death threats, right? Except for the threat of, capital punishment for capital crimes, of course. But that's different from death threats. And threatening messages due to several anti-LGBTQ campaigns targeting the collection. After learning some Target employees have also been threatened, this Eric Carnell gal expressed bittersweet relief that Target pulled some of the items due to safety concerns. And honestly, I doubt that that's the entire reason why. It's bad publicity. It's bad publicity. It's not just the violence, please, or the, threats. I'm sure that there are some evil people who are overreacting to evil with evil, of course. But by and large, the right-wingers are not like that. It's the left-wingers who are like that. As you heard at the very end of the show yesterday from Bigg Bump, my co-host for yesterday, that the most, what was the line? The extremists? Let me see if I can go down there to yesterday's show. Violent nutty libs. Study links left-wing extremism, according to Rebel News, May 25th, 2023, with narcissism and psychopathy. And they cite a study from Current Psychology, link.springer.com, May 20th, 2023. Understanding left-wing authoritarianism, relations to dark personality traits. Interesting phrase, dark personality traits. Altruism, meaning, wishing everybody well, fake. And social justice commitment. Wild, huh? So the Antifa and the radical LGBTIQ, radical homosexuals, and Black Lives Matter, and Occupy Wall Street, all those people. AP, far left extremist outlet, Associated Press, Call Me Nonsense Network, all that. Hake, are you going to continue shopping at Target? I rarely do. I rarely do, but I probably won't do much different from what I do. Given existing research, we predicted a correlation between high levels of left-wing authoritarianism and increased narcissism, self-centeredness, right? The authors stated, a fresh perspective has led researchers Anne Crispens and Alex Bertrams to introduce a novel term for this behavioral phenomenon, the dark ego vehicle principle. So that's I can go into that and explain it another time, or maybe next time I have Bigg Bump with me, co-hosting. Next holiday. Those are the ones who are doing the violent threats more often than... and in fact, sure enough, one of my news sources, TKR Official on Telegram, t.me/TKR Official, Asmodee's channel, I saw a screenshot of a purported Daily Mail sleazy far-left outlet. I call them far-left, but people think that they're right-wing. They're not. That said that the radical LGBTIQ people were threatening multiple Target stores to bomb them and different things. And wasn't there a gay who, there could be, because there have been false flag death threats and graffiti and fake hate crimes committed by blacks all the time. They do these fake hate crime things all the time, false accusations. They write the N-word on different dorm room, building, bathrooms and walls and different things like that, and their own doorways. And then come to find out it's they who did it, not some white racist person. Whites don't do graffiti. That's a black and Hispanic thing, by and large, right? Exceptions to the rule. Not normal Christian, decent whites. Gays have done that fake thing. They've done painted swastikas on this gay so-called organ player at a church. Painted a swastika and MAGA and different things on the side of his church. And he pretended that it was a MAGA supporter after Trump got elected. Remember that? And so when there was an Israeli Jewish person who called in all these fake death threats, or maybe they were real death threats, bomb threats on synagogues, and it was a Jewish person. Terrible. Hake, you missed censoring certain things. How technalized of you, says Strifecast. Yeah. That's funny. I have Hassan over here showing the headline from the CNN article where, man, I have so much junk in my folder for today's thing. Yeah, I censored various things. I censored where it says his, LGBTQ+, his, because it's her. Target, this face. I censored the mannish hands. I censored LGBTQ+. I censored himself and he and all that, because it's not he, it's she. Whew, not good. Oh, man. Getting back to... so there's been some LGBTQ people who've been doing threats on targets, allegedly. Oh, they're very violent people many times. Is it not the case that Antifa, to say it the Trump way, is disproportionately transgender. I think they have a disproportionate transgender population, and they can be violent. One of them is very stabby. I guess it's making it sound too cute. Where's my spittoon? I forgot to grab my spittoon before I fake spit. Yeah, they're very violent and destructive. And so they're pretending like, oh, it's because of threat of violence that... And I'm sure that there are threats, because some right-wingers are angry, so-called right-wingers. They're liberals at heart. They're angry. But look at this. These IG posts. If you can stand it, cover your eyes, kids. IG from Abprallan, UK. And I censor, it has like a rib cage shaped like a heart and a spine shaped like a heart. And I censored it for their, I don't know, that's their logo. Abprallan, UK. That's his IG, her IG posts. She's artsy. A so-called gay trans. That's confusing. I guess I don't really need to know what that actually means. It's sort of baffling. It means she still likes guys. I think that's what that means. Anyway, terrible. Announcing the Target partnership. Well, that was the beginning of May. Now it's not even the end of May. Well, the end of May nearly. And they're pulling this stuff already. Look at this. Satan respects pronouns. And it has a devilish-looking goat face. Oh, terrible. And it has a Ouija board thing. Satan respects pronouns. So it really is satanic, devilish. Oh, and this person imagined... I censored like a lot of it. And all it really is, it looks somewhat like skin and purple and baby blue. It looks gross. So I got kind of grossed out. I'm even grossed out by the part that I didn't censor. I should have censored the most vulgar part of it, and I didn't censor the most vulgar part of it. Terrible. But gross, huh? Awful. Evil. Satan respects pronouns. I bet he does. Because that's their fake identity. He doesn't actually respect it. He just feeds you a fake identity. Transgenders, shout out to the transgenders. You're misled. Ouija board mess. That's a devilish thing. Who made the Ouija board thing? Oh, spoiler alert, thinks that he shut down the IG page. Wow, I got in before that happened, huh? Really? Is that true? Let me see. Oh, no, I still see it. I see it. It's a gross account. Look. Here, I'll post it right now. In the chat, I guess. Not that you really want to look. Don't click. Even though I shared it. ABPRALLEN, UK. Don't harass her. And don't call her a her either. You're not supposed to misgender. I disavow misgendering. Misgendering is saying what she really is, right? But I do it out of respect. I respect her too much to go along with that mess. Oh, man. Not good. Oh, it also said cure transphobia, not trans people. She has this thing on her post. She has these big old rings in the middle of her nose like a bull. Ugh. Mannish hand. Manlier hands than Hake. Oh, oof. Shuddering. Too disgusted. Terrible. Yes, Jesus loves the morally crooked. Okay, so this Eric gal was thrilled to have her, they say his, it's fake news, work on display in 1,954 Target stores across the United States. I wonder if it was really in all 1,954 places. Yeah, look, did you... terrible. Ugh. Let me just make sure that I've reacted to everything that was worth reacting to. We belong everywhere, they say. Not good. Oh, this one is funny. This IG post, we add more genders every time you complain. That made me funny. That cracked me. Oh, I forgot to censor the long fingernails. Oh. Two. Okay, take it down. Take it down. Ugh. I forgot to censor that. My bag. My bad. Anyway, I gotta get to... Let's move on. Steve in Dallas, Texas. Steve is on the line. How are you doing, Steve? I forgot to
I'm
click
doing
over
pretty
to you.
good, pretty good.
Nice.
Took a while.
Right on.
Yeah, I had a question, but it's kind of old. You already talked about it, but you were talking about the Federal Reserve, right?
Yeah.
Do you think the Federal Reserve has a lot of money in it?
I hadn't even thought of that. Yeah, I sort of think so, but...
I'll ask like this. Do you consider America one of the, if not the most richest country in the world? Country?
Yeah, I do.
So that leads me to my next question.
Okay.
Do you believe they have enough money to pay people like myself reparations for the wrongdoing that they have done to us and they continue to do to us?
They could, I'm sure they could make up some imaginary money and pay you with it, because that's a lot of what we have.
Even I mean to cut you off, but even if it's 10,000, that's a fraction of what they gave the Jews during their Holocaust. It's a fraction of what they gave the Native Americans. When Native Americans, they kind of got screwed. But every other ethnic group in America has received a form of reparation, except people of my complexion.
White,
and whenever this is brought up, it's
white Americans got reparations for you.
Yeah, they did.
When?
Hell yeah, they did.
Heck.
During the slavery.
Heck.
When the slave when the Emancipation Proclamation was endowed, white Southerners were enraged knowing the fact that their economy, which they talking about black people,
right?
They were losing their money.
Yeah.
So the reparation, that 40 acres in the mill that was designated to people of color, white slave owners got that.
Oh, that's good. Good for them. They
yeah,
deserve.
I guess you could
That's
the
minimum. That's the least that they could. They really deserve to keep their slaves, I think, until they could get rid of them themselves.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Especially if you're thinking like that, I mean, you should have the common courtesy to not only pay for all the stolen labor that you've stolen.
It's not
all
stolen.
Those women that you raped, the children that you raped.
I didn't rape anybody.
That was raped.
I disavow rape.
Yeah, you did. Your answers did.
You don't know that.
That was a known thing. Man, that was a...
That's
Jefferson.
That's
Thomas
overstated.
Jefferson,
it was consensual.
Thomas Jefferson was one of the most prolific
now you're
jungle-fevered person you can think of.
Now you're adding to the story, and I don't even know if that story is real. But
come on, man, I'm a historian buff, man.
Historian buff.
Don't let the
I remember you now. It's nice to hear from you again, Steve.
Most definitely I enjoy it. Yes.
But no, I have a parable for you guys.
Just be honest. Well, I got one too, but just be honest. Think about it. If every other person in America, every other ethnic...
But I wasn't talking about white slave owners. I was talking about white Americans from the time of 1965 when they flooded our country with the illegals and they desegregated, forced integration into different neighborhoods.
That kind of destroyed us as a whole.
Yeah, it destroyed a lot of stuff. So, like, the real American people have lost a lot of value.
Who's the real American? If you're born in America, that makes you a real American, right?
No. The white Anglo-Saxon Protestant real Americans. You laugh, but I'm serious.
I know. I'm laughing because you're serious, because I know how that's crazy, man.
It's not crazy. It's less crazy than your situation, maybe.
You know what?
Yeah. Calling
your show and hearing you guys talk about some outrageous stuff gives me another sense of humor, because I know you don't believe half the nonsense you say, because people would stone you dead in the middle of the street if you thought that you say the true American, Protestant, what you say?
Yeah, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant American. Wasp.
What about the what's the other Anglo-Saxon? That's another type of.
There's also like like those Irish people. I guess they're considered Anglos too.
Yeah,
but
you know what I mean?
the French, the Italians,
the Gaul and
the Russians,
stuff like that. Russians, but they all look the same though. You all got the same taste.
Whatever, you all look the same.
Yeah, we're the first human beings on Earth, so of course we're gonna look the same too.
I heard the first human beings were white.
Come on now.
That's just what I heard. I don't know. I've heard both things.
You hear a lot of nonsense, man.
Not necessarily.
You hear a lot of nonsense.
But
if you believe some of the rhetoric,
I mean, it's irrelevant.
Be preaching, man. It's nonsense. It's comedy. That's why I enjoy it, because it makes me laugh. Because normally I'd be angry, but right now I'm laughing because it's silly. Because you can't believe what you're saying because it don't make sense. It doesn't sound American to be so un-American, to be so, what they say, liberty and justice for all. But then if you really know the truth, that it's really not literally justice for all, and then you act like it still is, it's kind of like that old, we're lying, but we're not lying, but really telling the truth type of thing,
But don't blacks get what they deserve?
Hell no.
Whoa. Hey, keep it clean. Don't say hell.
My fault. Yeah.
Okay, so let me tell you a parable from Jesus.
What they deserve, you say.
I read it. I think I read this parable last week. Jesus told about a certain man who owned a vineyard or something like that. He was
talking about the rich man would never make it into heaven?
No, not that one. He hired different people throughout the day, right?
You're talking about the one he took about the coins. He gave his coins to his servants.
Not that one. He hired them, and they worked. Some of them worked all day. Some of them worked only 5 hours. Some only worked 3 hours. Some of them only worked 1 hour.
Misconstruing that story I just said, but go ahead.
So did you hear what I just said?
Yeah, I heard what you said about you misconstruing the story, but
no, the story is some of them worked all day. Some of them worked only 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
He paid them all exactly the same amount, and he paid the ones who only worked 1 hour first, and he paid the people who worked all day last. They were last in line. And so the first shall be last, and the last first, and they all get the same thing. So you're looking over at these other people getting reparations. You should be you guys are spoiled. You're giving too much.
No, man. Be honest.
You don't realize how much you have.
Think about it like that. I'm gonna give you a parable now.
Okay.
Imagine your grandfather and your grandfather's grandfather had to actually go out into those fields and actually pick that cotton that you were growing. Imagine your grandfather had to pay those people that he got those free labors from for all those 400, 600 some odd years. Come on, man. That is more money and equity than any other nation in the world. Even British, who first was one of the ones first to abolish slavery, they knew how cruel and insulting it was. But no, not America. America became America because they didn't want to abide by the British abolishment of slavery. People don't even discuss that. But that's the reason why America is America. Yeah, they say our men are created equal unless you're black, unless you're a person of a color of a Snicker, like myself. So if you,
I like Snickers.
If you look like that, then you will always be like my man Malcolm X said, you'll be relegated to second-class citizenship.
I learned
like that.
I learned from Hassan over here that the first slave owner was black. Did you know that in America?
False.
What's wrong with slavery?
Ain't nothing wrong with slavery. It's okay. You got indentured servitude, and you got slavery. Now, slavery is worse than indentured servitude
because it's permanent.
Servitude. Yeah, well, not even that. It's the fact that servitude has a compromisable agreement between two parties. Slavery, you have no choice, you have no will. Either you work or you die. If you don't work, if you don't die, resurrect your family, then you die. So it's like you're against your own willpower. You don't have a choice. That's the difference between anything else you could say in slavery.
Some slaves, I think slaves were paid though. They got food, clothing, housing.
No. That was to keep them alive. That's like they say in jail. You paid in jail, but
that's good. And then, is it better that they were fed and clothed, or was it would it be better that they weren't fed and clothed and housed?
The one, okay, you know what? That shows you the heart of slave owners right there.
They have a good heart.
Some did. Yeah, you're right. Some slave owners, they actually was like, well, you are human, so I might as well give you a shack.
Right.
I might as well give you these holy-ass clothes that I can't wear, my kids can't wear.
Hey, keep it clean, man. I think you might have said the A word. But anyway, some of them bought their freedom, and there were black slave owners. And what do you mean it was false that the first slave owner was black? You don't know?
So, yeah, you were. I know it wasn't no black person. It's easy. Black people.
You ever heard of Anthony Johnson?
Who?
Anthony Johnson?
Come out that guy, the boxer?
The first slave owner. He was black in America in the 1600s. He was born in 1600, roughly.
Let me show you how he wasn't a black person, because his last name was Johnson. How can a person who was once a slave own another slave? I'm not saying that there wasn't.
He might have been mixed. He might have been mixed. Maybe he was Dutch Indonesian
but
black.
But not put the last name of Johnson. Now, if his name was Tim Buka Batuka, some shit.
No,
yeah,
hey, keep it clean, man.
Yeah, on my heart, yeah.
But a lot of smart Chinese people change their names to American names to emulate to fit in with society.
The Jews do it too.
So did this black guy, maybe. Who you don't know?
No,
that doesn't prove that he wasn't black.
No,
your name is Steve. Your name is Steve.
Yeah, like, and sadly, I have the last name of a slave owner.
That's
English slave owner at that.
Your ancestors weren't sad about that. Why are you sad about it? You think you know better than your ancestors?
No. Ancestors they knew if they didn't endure with it, I wouldn't be here, because they knew the barbaric.
Be happy about it.
Of the white. No, it's about being white. See, you lucky that I'm a person of education.
Yeah.
I'm a person that has conscience. Now, somebody that
you're
looks
not,
like
so you're not angry
like me, they will really punish you for saying the things you stand. It's like
no, but they would be wrong for doing that.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah, they would.
It's like saying, be happy that you were a slave. Now you're not a slave anymore. You should be happy to hear that you did your ancestors extremely wrong, like they were less than animals. Now that I have
less than
opportunity
animals
to get, yeah, you're right. You're right. Less than animals.
They were more than animals. They were human beings, slaves.
No, not the way you.
Are you really free if you can't own slaves? I think that we did away with freedom after the Civil War. Because think about it. Now they got minimum wage, which is way too high.
It shows you that. The Civil War shows you that.
Did you know that blacks owned slaves too? And did you know that black slaves bought their freedom sometimes?
Yeah.
And did you know? I heard that slavery was on its way out anyway.
Nah.
Yeah.
So why would it?
It's just that the liberals, the communists, are too impatient. They want to play God.
You hear what they say? The police became the new slaves, the new slave owners. The prisons. Legal system. Yeah, prison system, which you are. If you ever go to jail,
you should be.
You don't, especially not you, because you go to jail, you're gonna be someone's woman.
Whoa, Steve, that's inappropriate.
No, that's actually the truth. I'm trying to say you now.
That's evil, though.
Yeah. You make the rules, and I just play the game.
Whatever. I didn't make the rules.
Yeah, you did. Your people made the rules. We just all play the game.
Whatever.
Now, you go to.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, don't get angry now. It's fact.
No, I don't think that's true. I think that we should have had the freedom.
Who was the first police officer? Who was the first police officer that roamed America? They didn't look like they look like Snicker eaters.
That doesn't mean that doesn't mean Snicker eaters. That doesn't mean that
they were Snickers.
Just because they were white, just because the first police were white men doesn't mean that they made the rules that we're living under today.
They made the rules.
It's not very Christian people who are making the rules today.
Oh, the American Constitution. Who you think make that?
You're jumping around too much now.
No, I'm just showing you how in depth of knowledge I am, because they're all the same thing, man.
Well, anyway, I forget where we were. I forget where we left off.
You talking about you not going to jail because the new slavery is that. They tell you
no, I mean we should have chain gangs, and they should be enslaved. Like the homeless people, they should be working. Yeah. Then they would have value. Then they would have value.
I agree, because it's biblical that if you don't work, you don't eat.
Yeah.
It's biblical that if you don't have diligent hands, you will be doomed to face poverty. So I agree.
See, you have a little bit of sense. You just have to calm down and not be justifying black violence against whites.
Man, you didn't see. You lucky, man. My old me, but man, we would have more fun, but I'll be more angry. Now I'm laughing because I know you silly, because I know it don't mean nothing. It's a joke. Even though the things that my people went through and how we go through today, damn sure in the joke is nothing.
I know, but you need to let that go. You're resentful about that. That's my point. That's what I was trying to express to Art from Ohio, who was.
I mean, cut you off, but then you just say that Christian, you just said something about God, right?
Yeah.
Do you think God's going to drop his first rules about thou shalt not kill? You should be, oh no, God, we kill each other every day. You should let that go. You should be okay with that. We murderers now. It's cool to be a murderer now. Think God's going to roll with that? Or he's going to say what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong?
Are you talking about black violence, black murder, or what murder?
Man, murdering, period. I know we do it to ourselves a lot, but you guys instilled that drive to be self-hatred.
Lord, come on, man.
Yeah, you did.
All right.
There's books of you guys preaching the only good N-word is the dead N-word, or all types of rhetoric you guys used to. A happy N-word is a watermelon and chicken eating N-word. Come on, man. You know you guys did that.
Man, it's been nice talking with you. I got to run. Call me another day.
Most definitely.
All right.
Okay.
Take care. He's a nice guy. I wonder how old he is. I forget if I knew that. This guy really makes me miss Earl, says Clovera. Let me double check for super chats before I get back to calls over here, guys. I feel like there may have been a super chat that came in. Indeed, evil is still real over on Rumble. Says William, or William can't do something to just one group under the Bill of Rights. Slavery was legal under the Bill of Rights. Bill of Rights was first 10 amendments, 1 through 10. Slavery ended with the 13th Amendment. Oh, thank you, evil is still real. I think he might have meant equal protection under the law. I'm not sure. Evil is still real with another super chat. Huge difference between a government and private pensions. Oh yeah. Encouraging all employees to invest 401k through matching programs. That money is going to go into the market as artificial increase. That's above my head, my comprehension, somewhat. Thank you. But thank you, evil is still real. Perhaps some of you guys who understand economics. I was taught government and economics by a communist, Che Guevara-loving liberal who thought that FDR was the best president. Franklin D. Roosevelt, the communist who brought in Social Security, which is evil socialism, communism, and dressed in it's your money, fake paying into it, and he also outlawed buying gold, I think, or something like that, or made you guys sell all your gold, you guys being the old people, at a lower rate than what it was valued. That guy, I forget why I brought him up. Anyway. Equal protection is the 14th Amendment, says evil is still real. Oh! It hurt. I slapped my forehead with my palm. Like, I forgot. As if I ever knew that the 14th Amendment said equal protection under the law. I feel like there might have been a Ko-Fi that came in, ko-fi.com. Indeed, Renergy. Is that annoying? Bought a coffee on Ko-Fi, ko-fi.com/The Hake Report. I used to walk hand in hand with Jesus. What happened to me, Hake? If indeed you used to walk hand in hand with Jesus, that may have been only in your imagination. Don't long for, as The Cry. There's a Christian band from the 90s called The Cry with a K, K-R-Y, who said, take my hand and walk where I lead. Don't say, why were the old days better? just because you're scared of the unseen. So it may have been in your imagination. Don't long for the old days. Just keep on seeking God with all your heart. Something like that. And you will find him. So I don't know what happened to you. You became corrupt like everybody. Renergy. But thank you for the coffee. Interesting super chat. I tried my best. Spoiler alert, bought a coffee on Ko-Fi. Every town and city in the United States was built by white people. So he says. And I think that's probably true. And then a lot of them were kind of like raised, R-A-Z-E-D, not R-A-I-S-E-D, by blacks and others. What a mess. Terrible. Interesting point. Yeah, I think there's some truth to that. Bigg Bump sent in a interesting chat over here. Speaking of liberals being angry, I just read a UK Yahoo headline. I'm a London liberal and I hate you. Cyclist tells Just Stop Oil activists. Yeah, I remember that Just Stop Oil activists, those ones who were in the street. I played it last week or 2 weeks ago or so. This guy was just throwing him. He grabbed one guy's cell phone, threw it on the ground. He was mad. I almost wanted to say the P word for mad. Yeah. They're just spreading anger. And they're angry. Liberals hating liberals. A lot of these mass murders, these mass shootings are done by liberals. Probably all of them if you count anybody with anger being a liberal. He also quotes Steve, my prior caller. I know we do it to ourselves a lot, but yeah, it's wild. Marlene reminds us that black slaves were castrated in the Muslim countries, more so than in America. Yeah, we let you live and reproduce, and we kept your families together by and large. Yeah, we separated some of the families a little bit. I mean, at some point, you're supposed to separate from your family anyway, right? But we didn't, by and large, castrate them. But maybe that was a smarter idea, even though it was kind of evil. Because then you don't have to deal with the ungrateful children. Kind of like the children of immigrants are ungrateful children. Spoiled and worse than the immigrants themselves. Same thing with the descendants of slavery. By and large, ingrates, not good. Not good for you as the ungrateful person. Descendants of slavery. There are many descendants of slavery who listen to Hake. Nor is it good for the country. Diana is a first-time caller from Connecticut. Diana, thanks for calling and holding. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. What good? How are you good? No woman is good.
I'm good because I believe in God, and He just helps me get through.
Right on.
Otherwise, everything else is just bad around. But I don't let that. I'm an optimist. I don't believe that's going to be forever.
Right on. That means you're well or fine.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
I'll use that. I'm well and I'm fine.
Nice. Cool.
So, I was wondering, when people, okay, I have special needs children, and so everyone seems to have problems with the court systems, they can't really sue for losses. I was just wondering, can people sue for gains?
Say that last part. Say your question again.
Okay, so after asking for my kids' medical records, right? I found out that a lot of the times my children were in the emergency room was after getting vaccinated. So, and so there's a statute of limitations and all this silly stuff going on that you can't even hold nobody responsible for it.
Yeah.
But you really can't sue for losses. I was wondering if you can sue for gains. Like my child gained less hearing.
Right. You could say instead
gained,
of losing hearing, he gained lost hearing or messed up hearing. You
yeah,
know what? I think you're, to use a G.I. Joe phrase, SOOL, simply out of luck. Did you guys know that? It's simply out of luck. It's not the S word out of luck. So if your children are vaccine injured, by and large, I'm not the person to ask because I have no knowledge really about no expertise on the law or on redress of grievances or whatever. So I don't know, but my suspicion is that you're not going to get any money or compensation for whatever bad things that you or your children have suffered as a result of those things. It's hard to prove too, but anyway, yeah, I don't know. So were your children?
Question,
you said they were special needs, like they're like
special needs.
handicapped.
Like both my children have hearing loss, so their first language is American Sign Language. So as soon as these masks were put up, like I was trying to hold the governor responsible, the mayor, the schools, everybody, and I used to go to the Board of Education meetings talking to everyone in sign language, and everyone's looking at me like, what is she saying? I'm like, the same way you don't understand what I'm saying, the same way my son doesn't understand what you're saying under those masks, or my daughter. The same way I'm not going to translate it to you, no one's translating it to them because there's no interpreter anywhere. So my children have been left without their equal access opportunity. And so, like, the courts are not working. So I'm wondering, like, as I was reading certain parts of the Bible, like, I realized at a certain point, like, I believe it was preachers and bishops, and they all came together and they decreed that you have to, like, wait 30 to 45 days before you can petition to God. So to me, the courts is just like a distraction. Who we really should be petitioning to is to God for our grievances. And I believe the devil goes over there every single day asking God for permission to trespass and transgress on us, and no one's filling those courtrooms up.
Interesting.
You know, the courts
I think that may be true. You should be going to God with cast all your cares on him because he cares for you.
I agree.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like all these systems were put in place just to take away from things that usually God would actually put his hand in. And so when they decreed that, they made people wait 30 to 45 days till they can finally get their grievance addressed. And that just leaves you in sin just a lot longer.
Right. Are their father around?
Here and there.
Here and there? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Man.
It's not, like, I'm mostly like, you know, I'm the one trying to stand up to the schools. I'm the one standing up to the hospitals. I'm the one standing up to all these systems and programs. Which I took my kids out of school early on with this. I said, I'm unenrolling them. They're not going to get no more funding for my children if they cannot accommodate them. And them wanting to accommodate my children was, wear a clear mask. I'm like, my children also have eczema, which exacerbates with a mask, and they have asthma.
Crazy.
So,
wow.
Like, that just is not a one-size-fits-all. And everything I keep on trying to bring, they're, like, dismissing everything I have, and I'm just wondering, can we fill up the courtrooms of God? Like, because to me, he's my ultimate judge. You know, and so, I don't know.
What's your question? Can you fill up the courtrooms of God?
Yeah, can we?
What's that mean?
You know, like, so in other words, like, when he's the one that should be addressing our grievances. How, like...
But to me, it sounds
we're
like...
all consciously...
it sounds like your situation... God. It sounds like your situation is not ideal, but it's somewhat manageable.
Yeah, so I've been trying to look for healing ways.
Because like, your children may not learn as much as other children, but they'll still do fine in the world. But you worrying about it and being upset about it is not going to be good for them.
Yeah, I'm not upset. I'm just
you seem stressed.
I'm feeling like the equal opportunity is being like thrown out the window.
You're not going to get.
I just feel like my children,
I recommend
are like left out.
I recommend you don't worry about being left out. That's the way of the world, and don't fall for this equal opportunity stuff. I think that's a false value. You can definitely petition and try to get whatever service that you can for them. But don't stress about it. Don't be resentful that other people are getting better service than you.
I look at it like this, like we're last here, but in the kingdom of God, we're going to be first. So I look at it like that. And then I just say, if this is my situation, what would God want me to do?
It might not mean what you think it means, though. The last shall be first and the first shall be last. Because you want to have a humble attitude and not be looking down on the people who seem like they're getting their first stuff, or resentful or jealous or envious that they're getting stuff that you're not getting. You know what I mean? Because the last shall be first. Way to look at it. You want to have a humble attitude and not be saying, "Oh, in heaven the last shall be first. We're gonna be on top, and you guys are gonna just wait and watch. You'll see." You don't want to have that type of attitude.
Like my attitude is like, I don't know
exactly what your attitude is.
I'm okay with being last. I serve myself last when I serve food. I eat last. Like I feel like I'm okay with that.
Nice.
My whole life has been like that. I've been last.
Yeah.
But in a way, that's the only way I feel being put in those situations I can learn from.
Right.
But I'm not like angry. What I am is just like, what's the word I can say?
Stressed?
So they trespass and transgress so much on my children, and I ask God to forgive me too, because I can't just say that was everybody else, because a lot of these things I gave permission to.
Right.
At the end of the day, I told the doctor I signed off for him to get vaccinated. So I'm not just saying, "Oh, it was you, doctor." I'm saying, God forgive me as well.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know. We perish for lack of knowledge. And so I'm just, as a mother of two special needs children, I've always been fighting for what's going to be good for them, because everything else is bad.
Before even that, though, more important even than that is that you be a woman of peace, like at peace within yourself and dealing with this stuff, because you don't want home to be hell for your two children. You want them to have a mother who's peaceful, because that's more important than any of the physical stuff that they may or may not be getting.
Yeah, I think that's probably why I've been writing music for God.
Oh, okay, right.
I feel like,
are you black or Hispanic or both, or neither?
I'm Puerto Rican.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So maybe it's a little bit of all of them.
Yeah, could be.
Because it's like 3.
I wish you well, but it sounds like your situation really isn't that bad, and you'll be fine, and your children will be fine. Have faith.
I have a lot of faith.
Nice.
And I actually leave my worries to God.
Right.
And so I just, there's just certain things that I feel like some people don't understand. So, so that's why I was asking, talking about the suing part. Like, I don't really care for money. I just care for, if someone made this wrong, to make it right.
Yeah. Don't expect justice in the world. There's no justice. It's just us.
Nice way to put it.
But it's true. Like, you can't expect the world to be just. But you be
I'm
just. I'm
laughing because I just told my friend that the other day.
Nice.
So you saying that is just like synchronism.
Right on. I gotta go, Diana. Nice to hear from you. Call me again sometime. Take care.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Take care.
God bless.
Bye. Guys, this has been the Hake Report. I cannot get to you. JC in Little Rock, Arkansas wanted to talk about Target. And Issa in California wanted to talk about Steve, my caller, and slavery. This is Everyone is Number One by Andy Lau. I've played it before from 2007, from when China was... Here it is. Enjoy, you musical Philistines. Oh, and maybe I'll sit through and chat with you guys. Andy Lau, Mr. China.
我的路不是你的路，我的苦不是你的苦，每个人都有潜在的能力，把一切去征服。我的泪不是你的泪，我的痛不是你的痛，一样的天空，不同的光荣，有一样的感动。
This is not Van Halen.
不需要自怨自艾的惶恐，只需要振作，只要向前冲，告诉自己天生我材必有用。
Here it is.
Everyone is number one. 只要你凡事不问能不能
I disavow.
用一口气交换你一生，要迎接未来不必等。Everyone is number one.
Participation trophies.
成功的秘诀在你肯不肯流最热的汗，用最真的心。第一名属于每个人。
Bigg Bump. I thought you were gonna stay and chat, not sing. I know. Bass Chai-Kongs. Am I right?
我的手不是你的手，我的口不是你的口，只要一条心，狂风和暴雨都变成好朋友。不需要自怨自艾的惶恐，只需要振作，只要向前冲，告诉自己天生我材必有用。Everyone is number one.
Oh yeah, I got Joel Fridays coming up next. Joel Friday TV.
能不能用一口气交换你一生，要迎接未来不必等。Everyone is number one. 成功的秘诀在你肯不肯流最热的汗，用最真的心。第一名属于每个人，不害怕路上有多冷，直到还有一点余温，我也会努力狂奔。Everyone is number one. 只要你凡事不问能不能用一口气交换你一生，要迎接未来不必等。Everyone is number one. 成功的秘诀在你肯不肯流最热的汗，用最真的心。第一名属于每